Hey, welcome to Your Personal Health. I'm Jeff Harris, along with Dr. Burris and Dr. Michael Kim. That's Krista Burris and Dr. Michael Kim. Welcome, guys.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, if you missed our show, COVID-19 update, Dr. Kim mentioned something over there I thought that was very, very important, as well as everything that Dr. Krista Burris said. Everything she said is important, but one thing she noted was we're kind of living in this parallel universe, and you might want to hop back over there and watch that because it is really important. We're not done with this whole pandemic thing, but there is a mindset that possibly is. So maybe hop back over there if you have a second and check that out. It's only a 15-minute program, but check that out because it may mean the difference for protecting you and your family against COVID. So guys, welcome today. I heard on the show that it was a little bit of a AAA kind of week.
Yes, it was at home and on the road. We've had a flat tire, a flooded toilet, a dead battery. So
that's almost like a biblical proportion. So, the triple header is like, oh gosh. And we have locusts invading the Midwest and the Northeast, right? Okay, so actually they're not locusts, they're cicadas, but hey, we got to try to fit that into that biblical proportion thing. Well, it's good to have you guys on and always smiling. And today I want to talk about something that we started talking about maybe, I can't believe it, it's been like, 15 months. But we started talking about this maybe 3, 4, 5 months in about how people were putting their health really on hold because they were afraid to go and see their doctor in fear of potentially being exposed to someone who had COVID. And what I really want to talk about today is what's our next step now? How do we get back on that health train? And I just want to set this up by, for a long time, my gym was shut down. So I went to a personal trainer for a while, and now my gym is back open. And as I'm in there, I'm like, wow, I really have lost some strength. And I noticed that with my numbers. And it's getting back into that routine because I tried it once and then I fell off the wagon and went like 2 weeks and didn't go again. And now I've gotten back on that. So how do we do, or is it necessary for us to get back on that let's stay healthy wagon? And does Coachella Valley Direct Primary Care offer that or recommend that?
Absolutely. And I think you're experiencing what is a pretty common thing, which is trying to figure out how to get back into what used to be a routine is sometimes harder than you might expect. And that goes along with routine health visits and routine dental care. And what we saw during the pandemic is almost everyone deferred their maintenance type of visits. So these are your routine checkups where you might get your cholesterol checked, or they might order your cancer screening tests. And we are now seeing people sort of starting to think about that again. And I think that's really important. These type of screening tests can save people's lives. And so if you're behind, don't panic. Get a hold of your doctor, or if you need a doctor, we're able to help people arrange these things. But the colon cancer screening, the breast and cervical, prostate cancer, all of this is really critical, as well as checking on how your blood pressure is doing. And for some of us, we've become more sedentary, maybe gained some weight, and maybe you need some help sort of coming up with a game plan to get back in shape or sort of work on your next fitness goal. But now new things are hurting and you're not sure if it's safe. And, a lot of things like that can happen that you may need a little bit of input from your doctor.
How does a primary care physician play into this? And we've talked about this so many times, and it's its own epidemic where we are really running behind as far as having enough primary care doctors in place to take care of us, as even here in the Coachella Valley. So how do we start getting back on that, where you said, hey, just call your doctor? I put your information on the screen, by the way, because I know you guys are still accepting patients, because that is the number one search thing is, hey, are you taking new patients? And so how do they get started with that?
Yeah, so it depends on what kind of insurance situation you are in. Whether you have insurance or not, that doesn't affect whether you can be a member here. But if you use your insurance, that's one of the biggest problems coming out of the pandemic, is trying to get in to see one of your provider is really, really difficult. Not everyone is like that, but most of them, we hear from our patients and members that they try to get in, they try to call, and they can't get in. And some things can wait 6-8 weeks, but some things can't. So the primary care doctor really is there to help you sort out what's going on, preventative wise, and also not so preventative wise if something comes up. Because, in life, things just like a broken toilet or a flat tire, it comes up. And thank goodness we had AAA. And that AAA came, right? I would get rid of the AAA if I called them and like, yeah, we'll be there in 6 weeks. I mean, I'd be like, hey, thanks. I'll push the car to the nearest. Right. So that's kind of like where our system is now, and where the primary care doctor really is there to help you with, to help you figure out that, okay, yes, the common things people are pretty smart at figuring out, but there's some things that aren't so common or can have a million ways to go. And Dr. Google, it doesn't help everyone. And, we all constantly hear people saying, I looked it up. Is it this? And we're like, no, it's not that. I even go there sometimes, right? My shoulder hurts. I got cancer. And Dr. Burris, she's got to walk me off the ledge and say, no, it's not cancer. You're just old. I'm like, okay, thanks. And so,
I would never tell someone they were old.
Well, no.
I'm like, you may have had some wear and tear in that joint.
And so, but that's your primary care doctor is there to help you, and then also to navigate the system. Maybe you do need a specialist. Maybe you do need this. And really, your primary care doctor knows how the system works and should be there helping you. And that's what we try to do. We try to, help people be the healthiest they can be wherever they are at. And, we do that by being accessible and personalizing the care and just, listening to them. And that, I think, is what a primary care doctor should do.
Well, I've got the reason I wanted to bring this up today is because I've been getting a lot of little reminders from my insurance company that it's it's never too soon to get a colonoscopy. And I thought I'd gotten over that the last time. But anyway, so I thought, is that something that I should contact them directly because they're my insurance company, or should I contact you because you're my primary care doctor? What is that? It's a little confusing. So walk me, and probably anybody else watching this might have the same question. How do we walk through that?
So a lot of times you will get little reminders like, we've noticed you haven't had this test and you're due for it. And I like to bring this up because when an insurance company is reminding you of this, that means it saves them money. So this is telling me that they're finding enough early stage cancers to justify them trying to make sure everyone is getting these screening tests. So in a way that kind of is, hey, these tests actually work. If they didn't work, the insurance company would kind of forget to remind you. I'll just put that out there. Okay. So, but for screening tests of any kind, whether it's a mammogram, a colonoscopy, other colon cancer screening tests, you'd want to contact your primary care doctor to order the test, because the insurance company doesn't order the test or get the results. Your doctor does. The insurance company is just tracking the fact that you haven't had the test according to their records, which are usually pretty good, and reminding you to go get it. So if you receive a notice like that, it's good to contact your doctor, because there's always a chance that you've actually had the test and it didn't get on the insurance company's radar. But if you haven't, then your primary care doctor should be able to talk to you about the pros and cons of screening and order the screening test if appropriate. There are some people for whom colon cancer screening should start earlier. They've actually, unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not sure which, have just lowered the age to start screening for colon cancer to 45. It used to be 50, and that change was made about 2 weeks ago.
I got about 10 years. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they're contacting me. I mean, that's way out in the future.
Computer glitches. So, yeah. But if there's
my baby teeth.
Yeah, if anyone in your family, like a first-degree relative, a parent, or a sibling has had colon cancer, you'd want to talk to your doctor because the age at which you start screening may be lower than 45. So that is that caveat.
Let's talk a little bit about, before we let you go, let's talk a little bit about what kind of let's say routine type of things we should look for. And not only just because of, I think sometimes I fall into this trap of, I think of our community here in the Coachella Valley as, it's an older community, but that's not true anymore. I mean, the age has really gone down. I think the average age now here in the Coachella Valley is around 42, 43, meaning they have children. So if we take that into account, what kind of tests should we be looking at as a parent, as an adult, that we should say, hey, we should get this back on our radar and make sure our children are safe? What kind of tests should we be looking for?
Well, in general, children have a lot of well visits when they're very young, and then during their young childhood ages, like school age children, actually only need to be seen once every year or every other year unless they have a medical problem. But then once you hit teenage years, there's sort of more of the onset of more of an adult range of things that can go wrong, and it's time to start talking about. But honestly, what we screen for a lot now is more of the lifestyle things. Like, we want to help our families develop good habits around exercise and diet, which is really hard to do in the modern world. And so that's something that most families have some struggles with. And being in a situation where you have somebody that can sort of come alongside a family and give them support and extra resources if needed can be helpful for them to keep their kids healthy as they move towards adulthood.
Got it. Hey, first of all, thank you guys for doing this. I really appreciate it. I know you're busy. I heard the phones ringing, both of them ringing, the cell phones ringing. So that's good. If you do need to make an appointment or you don't have a primary care doctor, it's important to give them a call at 760-642-5549, or just go to their website, CoachellaValleyDPC.com, and check them out. As someone, my wife and I are both members of their program. It's very affordable. I think, what is it, $99 if you're 0 to 45, and then it's $145 a month, I think, right? $145 because that's for older people, 46 and older, until when? Ever, right? So it's $145 a month.
Until you're back to age 0.
What's that?
Until you go back to age 0.
Yeah, that's it. And, the other thing I like about your program is, if you're somebody that comes to the desert and you're coming in and out of the desert, you're a snowbird, you're here for a few months and away, this is a great way to say, hey, while I'm here, I don't have to try to say, well, I've got to drive back to LA, or I've got to fly back to Seattle to see my doctor. You can actually connect with them for the month or 2 or 6 months while you're down here, and make sure you have access to a primary care physician that will take care of you while you're here, enjoying, as you said, the lifestyle that the desert allows you. So check them out at 760-642-5549. Hey, I kind of want to throw this out next week. I'd love to talk to you about our personal health, your personal health, when it comes to how it has changed with so many people now working from home. What do you see as the downside on our health? And then some things we can do to get us back into, I'm going to say, optimal health. What can we do, whether it's food or exercise or whatever? Because I'll just toss this out there. For me, as an example, I can get behind this computer and I see the sun come up while I'm working, and then I see the sun go down, and my wife says, Jeff, it's time for dinner. I can get zeroed in on this. Next thing you know, I've stood here because I have a standing desk, and I'll stand here for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours in a day. So I'm curious about what we see as a trend and what we can do to say, hey, this may be not the best thing, but you can still maximize the whole idea of working at home, but take care of yourself for health. So that's what I'd really like to talk about next week, if you're okay with that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's perfect.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, guys, any last words before I let you go? I think the tires are fixed, the flood's taken care of, and the battery is charged. I think we're all good.
Well, knock on wood for now.
Sometimes, here's the cool thing about this. Those things come in groups of 3. You guys are covered for decades now.
Let us hope so.
Oh, there you go. Somebody's calling in saying, hey, I'm ready to become a member of Coachella Valley Direct Primary Care. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
Jeff.
you.
All right. Bye-bye.